Hello and welcome all folks once again to Boomer 11 Live, and it's a new season and we're back with football once again. And because it's a new season, we have a new member as well along with us. Welcome Keshav,
Hi,
sporting
hi,
the
hi.
Liverpool colours. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and thank you for inviting me. Looking forward to.
Of course, always. The merrier. The more the merrier, as I say. And we're
Yeah,
just glad to have you on the show. And of course,
yeah.
the same old label as well on my wing. So we're pretty much ready. The three strike force, and we're going to be talking about the new season. And there's
Mhm.
already a lot of excitement and buzz around it because I think the first takeaway straight away is going to be the fact that it's the first ever season of European football without Messi and Ronaldo. I mean, the two stalwarts, the era is officially over. They have gone their separate ways. Messi finally taking up an Inter Miami calling in the US, and
Mhm.
Ronaldo obviously last season itself has left the Saudi. So now the new era has officially begun. You would say, Keshav, because it's probably is it the time for the Haalands and the Mbappes to take over?
Yeah, definitely. The new generation is definitely going to impact the season, and with as we see in the last season, the Haaland's performance was like totally next level. So yeah, lots of expectation from him, and same from Kylian Mbappe also. But most important, let's see at the end of the transfer window where the Kylian will be.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the biggest question right there. That's what I'm going to ask you as well, Abel. Kylian Mbappe, I think ever since he was a little kid, he started kicking football. He's wanted to play for Real Madrid. His idol Ronaldo has played there. But then, Kylian Mbappe had a little bit of a tussle with Real Madrid. Now, you think that Perez has said that the only way now you're joining Real Madrid is on free, and PSG is now trying to offload their biggest star ever. So, now, 31st July, which was yesterday, was the last day for him to extend the contract, that 1 year
Mhm.
extension. That is gone, which means he stays, which means he's not staying at PSG for more than a year. Now, Abel, what do you reckon? What options does he have? Is he going to come to Premier League by any chance?
Well, at this point of stage, at least it looks like he is fine to take a seasonal off as well if need be, because his ultimate goal is to play for Real Madrid, and there is no two ways about it for Kylian Mbappe. He has made his mind very clear. Even when he extended the contract last season with with PSG, he had his ambitions to go to Real Madrid, and that's one thing which he would have definitely communicated with Real Madrid. Definitely at that point of stage, Real Madrid did felt hard done by Kylian Mbappe's act, and whatever transpired after that really felt like Real Madrid might never go back to him, because Real Madrid is more than just a club for a player. They're not a club who just goes behind a player,
Yeah,
who
absolutely.
definitely looks beyond them. But right now, what you see is his ambitions to play for Madrid has captured the hopes of the fans, and Real Madrid definitely wants a star in this generation. We talk about Vinicius Junior, we talk about Rodrigo. I don't think they are the star of a Ronaldo or a Figo of that
Yeah.
stature just yet. But Kylian Mbappe is definitely that go-to star for this generation, and that's personally the reason why I think he wants to go to Real Madrid, and Real Madrid are also still there ready to welcome him despite of what happened the last season. It's going to be very interesting to see how it transpires this season, particularly for a player
Mhm.
to take an entire season break and to see if Paris Saint Germain are not going to give him a single game, or even to give him very few minutes under the belt. That's definitely going to affect him to a certain extent. At the end of the day, you are a player at the highest
Absolutely. Yeah.
peak, and you don't want to be losing any sort of momentum. And that is why this season maybe he might have to let down his guard a little bit, or PSG will look to offload him this very season to
Absolutely.
some Premier League club as well, because Chelsea are definitely in talks with him. Yesterday, surprisingly, Barcelona tried to contact him for
Yeah.
a two-player exchange, which is Gavi and Dembele, which is very surprising. But at the end of the day, every club wants a Kylian Mbappe, because
Yeah,
Absolutely.
one
and
thing Kylian Mbappe is a surety.
recent rumor of Liverpool, like Kylian
Absolutely.
Mbappe
Liverpool as
coming
well.
to
I
Liverpool
think
on a loan.
they've also, if I'm not wrong, there was a room, and I don't
No,
know if it's
that was all totally false
or a
news.
joke,
Like
but Tottenham as well, with
yeah,
Kylian
even Tottenham
Mbappe.
also. Yeah.
Yeah, so everyone wants him. He's the, I think he at this point in time, Kylian Mbappe stocks are selling like hot cakes in the market. But where do you see him fit, Keshav, in the Galacticos? Because he likes to play off a striker. Now Benzema is gone. They're
Mhm.
also looking for a striker, aren't they? Real Madrid. Now, where does a Kylian Mbappe fit into the Real Madrid system? Because as Abel said, he's a Galactico for sure. But can
Mhm.
they fit him? Because that's been an issue with Real Madrid where they try
Yeah.
too many stars on, but not in the right places. Is
Yeah.
that going to again be an issue this time around, especially having spent so much on Jude Bellingham?
Hmm. So my point on that is like he will definitely try to fit in, as the Real Madrid don't have a current good striker in the team who
But
we know.
you know that he doesn't like to
Yeah,
do
yeah,
many changes in his
yeah,
playing style. That's been his biggest issue probably at PSG as well.
yeah. Apart from that, there's some attitude problem in him that
Yeah,
happened last year, as you all remember
absolutely.
what he told about Messi and all that thing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think if there's one thing that Kylian Mbappe is, he's full of himself for sure. Let's
Mhm.
talk about some of the other, I mean, some of the other players as well. Kylian can play in ISL. Abel,
I'd
when you
love to
were,
have him.
when
Definitely.
you were I
Yeah.
mean, Chetri and
Kylian
Kylian
up front.
Mbappe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not a
why
bad
not?
deal.
Why not? Let's talk about some of the other transfers as well, right? I mean, let's talk about probably one that you would be very closely associated to, Keshav. Abel, Jude Bellingham, probably expected,
Sorry.
everyone expected him to go to Liverpool for a long
Yeah.
time. But
Uh-huh.
then that did not happen. He goes to Real Madrid and they get someone else for him as well, don't you? So you would say it's a win-win because they didn't want him in the first place. Why do you think
Mhm.
Liverpool didn't go for him?
I mean, personally, for me, what Liverpool did is very good job because what they did was they did not spend or splurge exactly on one player. They saved it up for a couple of players, and look, they got a good advanced midfielder in McAllister, and they also got attacking midfielder in Szoboszlai. And you're talking about Szoboszlai's class. If you've followed Bundesliga and Leipzig, you know what he brings. He brings a lot of dynamism. He can play up forward. He can play as a false nine. He's very advanced. He's very good, especially in a high pressure system where he can press off the opposition defense. He can regain the ball pretty quickly, and he's good in counters. And his link up play is going to be with pretty much with McAllister and White behind someone like Jota or Darwin Nunes for a lot of reasons. And even for McAllister, you want a left-sided midfielder, considering the fact that Fabinho or even fact that Thiago is injury prone.
I
You
mean,
want
Fabinho
a
has already gone to Al Ittihad.
Yes, the
So
fact is
he's
that was
left,
the whole
yeah.
whole point, right? They wanted to clear off the system. They wanted to get rid of Henderson. They wanted a complete revamp in the midfield.
Correct.
Last season,
Mhm.
they just felt like they went to Bajcetic a little bit. They went to Henderson. They went to Milner. It wasn't enough. Ultimately, you wanted a
Mhm.
fresh system to start off the season with, and that's where Liverpool did a very good job. Instead of investing in one player, they
Mhm.
assorted the funds in a couple of players,
Yeah.
and now they might want to get Lavia as well. If they get Lavia, if they can land that signing, it's going to be a completely new revamp season, considering the fact that what they have got in the strike force, which is impeccable strike force they have. I think Liverpool is good to go for the season.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
completely agree with you. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, Keshav, I'll come to you as well about this. Now,
Yeah.
how do you rate the Liverpool's transfer window so far? I mean, you're a fan, obviously. You would have
So like
had.
so far,
I mean, you would, yeah, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I rate around 7 out of 10, to be honest. Like we don't have a defensive midfielder yet, so
Yeah,
let's see.
yeah.
So that's why I personally think Lavia is the player to go for them. I mean, if he gets Lavia, because look, if you look at Lavia's last season stat, he was one of the person with the most number of interceptions and ball recoveries. And look at
Mhm.
that guy. I mean, I've seen him
Mhm.
personally. I expected him to stay in Manchester City because he was a product from the academy. He was sold off to Southampton, and
Mhm.
but from there on, his development has been pretty impressive. I mean,
Mhm.
right now, a lot of Premier League teams, which includes United as well, want a taste of Lavia, and he's another player in the Premier League. A lot of teams want behind him because he's got possibly that Chouameni kind of a profile.
Yeah.
He's a good player on the ball carrier. At the same time, in
Mhm.
the middle of the park, he can do the dirty work for you, which Liverpool
Mhm.
exactly needs, which Fabinho, which they're going to miss. Fabinho at his prime, Liverpool will play a high line of defense because Fabinho used to be the cover shadow right in front of Van Dijk and even in front of Joel Gomez, and in front of some of the best Liverpool seasons. But now you want a player like when Fabinho did not really do well, you saw what happened to Liverpool last season. So that's why they want
Mhm.
to launch up. Or else, then they'll have to look at various other options as well. At this point, Liverpool are looking at various other options, especially League On. Or if possible, they're looking at Kamara as well to an extent, is what I'm hearing. Let's see if
Mhm.
whatever happens, we'll know in the next 29 days because this is the
Mhm.
last transfer window officially.
I mean,
Mhm.
I think another team that we have to think about, I mean, look at it also is Chelsea. The Chelsea has been, I mean, it's been a Chelsea clearance sale season, right? They've
Yeah,
sold
bro.
so many players. It's like one of those times when you come towards the end of the financial year and you have to sell off some of the goods that
Mhm.
didn't work out for you last time. Now they haven't really made any inclusions though. Now they have a lot of injuries as well. Wesley Fofana, for instance, is now ruled out for most of the season, if
Yeah.
I'm not wrong. They are struggling. Badir Shield as well, who joined for them last year, is also not very sure if he's going to play or how long he's going to play in the season. Nkunku is the only one who's entered so far because of that deal they had done last season. The last season itself.
Mhm.
Where do you think this team goes on from there? Because they've had some talks. I think there were rumors of them being interested in Neymar for a while. That has not worked out. There were rumors of them being interested in Mbappe. It seems like a very American thing to do at this point in time, Keshav, that they are interested in something but they lose interest as quickly.
So, as we know, like Pochettino's new leadership, what we say, manager role will definitely show impact on the Chelsea squad. But yeah, as you told, Chelsea's squad is like completely unbalanced, to be honest. Right now, they
Yeah.
don't have like a complete squad like which will be going to play in the season. And after that, they sold many experienced players from their team like Kovac and let's see, many very unpredictable from the Chelsea side. So
Yeah. I mean, we expected a lot more players to be leaving and a lot more to be entering because they did end up even outside the European position. So very unlike Chelsea. I understand they're a team which has always looked at the European side of things, but they don't even have Europe to play for this year. So
Yeah.
tough times for them, and you expected them to, really, but you also expected them to sell a lot of players because of the amount of money they spent. Let's look at Manchester United then. Obviously, another team that did really well last season compared to their previous season.
Yeah.
Now they've got. I mean, there were rumors that they're going to probably go for an established number 9, like either Harry Kane. That was what was the rumor last year. They haven't gone for him. We thought Victor Osimhen will be joining in, but instead they have gone the Danish way.
Haaland.
They've Hoyland. So, Keshav, now you reckon he fits in that profile? Because one thing about him definitely is that he's someone who is very good at dribbling. He's someone who's ball carrying as well. He's not the kind of striker, let's say, what a Ronaldo was, something that Eric Ten Hag did. But now, do you reckon for him to transition to the Premier League, as you call it, there's a tax when it comes to it, and not
Yeah,
everyone
yeah,
has
exactly.
talent right away to get into it. So you reckon how is he going to fit in that system? And Abel, I would like to know your opinion as well.
To be honest, like very honest,
Yeah.
I don't think he will like totally suit in that. But we don't know about the team. But according to me, I don't think so. He will make some impact on the Manchester team. But apart from Holland, the attacking side of Manchester United are who? Anthony and what was the
Sancho.
other guy?
Sancho, Rashford. So, yeah.
So yeah, but let's see. I haven't seen Holland to play. I haven't seen much how he plays, so that's why I don't know about him much.
Yeah, fair enough. Abel, what about you now? I mean, obviously they've looked for a classic
Yeah.
number 9.
Yeah.
I think it's been a long time since the number 9 has impressed at Manchester United. It's sort of been a cursed position for them.
Yeah.
Not as bad as Chelsea, but it's still been there. You reckon going the Scandinavian way, as it went, is it work for the rivals in the other
Yeah.
end? Do you think it'll work for the your bitter rivals, so as to say?
Well, for me, I personally think it's a good signing for 2 reasons. Number one, I've quite liked watching Atlanta play in the last couple of seasons, 3-4 seasons. They've been good because of the kind of style they've adopted to play. And for me, the reason they've gone for Højlund is primarily because of what he brings off the ball. And Eric Ten Hag really wants a striker who does a lot more work off the ball. I mean, you can understand maybe his stats might look 27 goals and 85 appearances with 8 assists. Not the most impressive one, but what he does off the ball is very important.
Yeah.
Especially his movements, and especially when he makes those in behind runs where he creates space, where he tries to make those decoy runs into the box. How good is he inside the box?
Yeah.
He might not be the most penetrative in comparison with his counterpart in Haaland, and it's unfair to compare a Højlund with Haaland at this point in time because Haaland is up there when you talk about Galactico. So I mean, just because of namesake, all this hype, and because he's joining Manchester United, but other than that, I personally feel what he does off the ball, he is more of a complete number 9 in terms of a lot of other things in comparison with Haaland, because Haaland is way above him.
Of course.
But for a youngster, I think you would want to make such a signing because he's a good investment. You don't know how he's going to come off in the first season, but I'm at least expecting a better season than a lot of people are not right now.
Yeah.
A lot of people have already written him off saying that okay, he's coming up against Haaland, and it's unfair. If you're going to compare them both on the same pedestal, it's because you're talking about a guy who just won a treble and who's going to be competing for Ballon d'Or at this point.
Correct.
And you're talking about Højlund, who is just making his mark in footballing career.
You're talking about a guy who's scoring goals as if he's a printing machine.
And not just that, Haaland has played 100 more matches than him in professional career. So it's just unfair to be comparing the both. And it's his first Premier League season. I mean, Haaland was the big thing before even he came to Manchester City.
Correct.
But right now, talking about Haaland, who still have to make that footing, and we're not even sure if he's going to be a sure starter in that 11. A lot of things has to go in his way. But firstly, I don't think Manchester United have announced him completely, isn't it? Let's let Manchester United announce him finally. Then let's see how he goes about it later.
What do you reckon about Mason Mount, guys? Another, a Chelsea academy player, part of the Chelsea clearance sale as well, has gone to United. Now, for me personally, guys, what I feel is I think Erik ten Hag has somewhere identified that Christian Eriksen is not going to be there for a long haul, not going to be there for every match.
Yeah.
And I think Mason Mount is going to play that role for Manchester United. But you reckon now, how does he fit into their new scheme of things? Because he's again someone who's very good on the ball. He's someone who can create those chances. But you reckon he's exactly the kind of midfielder they're looking for?
See, with Mason Mount, it's still a very iffy situation because
Yeah.
I've seen the best of Mason Mount a couple of seasons ago. I've seen him be an overrated player as well. So it's a very iffy position for Mason Mount. You don't know what you get out of him. For Chelsea, the question is loyalty was a question here more than the player they were selling. They were selling Mason Mount to none other than Manchester United, but not to any other region or any other league. So that was the biggest question. Mason Mount's decision to go to Manchester United compared to anywhere else. So this was a major issue. Other than that, the player profile wise, see, Manchester United wanted him primarily because they are looking at a partnership of Bruno and Mason Mount up front in the midfield, and with a defensive midfielder to follow. There's Casemiro for sure. So they wanted two of these players to do a lot of work. And with Mason Mount, what you also get is that adaptability. He can go drift slightly on the left hand side. He can play centrally, and he can pickpocket as a number 8 more need be, but don't play him as a number 6. He can't play in a double pivot. He is more of an advanced player, right? He can play right behind Bruno more often than not, because you have seen more often than not in the Erik ten Hag system as well. Bruno goes as a right winger, so that's why you need a midfielder to be operating in those half spaces on the right hand region and right above Casemiro. So that is what Mason Mount will bring into this team. From whatever I saw in the couple of preseason friendlies as well, he's looked to be doing a decent job. He's been linking up play with Bruno Fernandes very well so far. And that's positive news for Manchester United. He's already fit into that system very well. And with one thing you get with Erik ten Hag is a clarity. You don't get shit. You don't get absolute shit. It is very clear. It's white or black. If you're shit, you're shit. You're going to be out on the bench. If you want to really impress him, you have to do the hard work in the pitch. He's someone who's bench Ronaldo.
What he's already done. He's removed Maguire as a captain. He's shown De Gea the door, and he showed Ronaldo the bench. Yeah. So he takes tough decisions.
He is a man for the tough decision. And if you want a club to go upward, you need a manager like Erik ten Hag, and there is no two ways about it. He doesn't mess around, and he's very clear with his intentions and plans.
Absolutely. I think probably let's now talk about one final important what's happened. Then we spoke about Real Madrid, I think let's talk about Barcelona. That just brings a smile on Abel's face there. Ousmane Dembele, I think it's almost confirmed that he is going to PSG. I think deal between the player and the team has been made. Barcelona is yet to confirm, but he is going.
Main thing, without him. Once again,
without him, it was a huge. I think it's rightly mentioned by Keshav. There was a huge drama around it. Me myself wanted to see Messi go there, finish off his career. That's not happening now. How do you look at their signing this time around? Keshav, I'll start with you. How have they been? They obviously had a big heartache with losing Messi to Inter Miami. But you still reckon this team can take on? They did take on, by the way, the Real Madrid
100%.
In US, but it's one thing beating them in US and one thing beating them in Spain, isn't it?
No. Like, to be honest, the expectation for the Barcelona team is very high this season for me. As we've seen, like Lewandowski last season, what a great player he was in. Like, many people said him like he will not fit in a Spanish system, but he definitely proved them. And and apart from them, the defense system is very perfect now. And apart from the signing from Man City, Gundogan definitely is going to show some impact on the midfield. So definitely, apart from Liverpool, because they are not playing in a UCL this season, my money is on Barcelona to win this season.
Okay.
I think me and Abel have had a very heated conversation on this, whether Barca makes it to the finals or not. But I think Keshav's already put them in.
Yeah, I
on
mean,
this
I'll
video.
tell you two reasons why I'm very impressed with the Barca squad. If there are no
Mm.
injuries, I'm just giving a disclaimer.
Yeah.
I think Barca are possibly the top three defense in Europe at this point,
Yeah.
considering they've got a very good stable defense with Balde, Kunde, Araujo, and Christensen when he's fit. You have to say, and alongside Inigo Martinez as a new addition, they look
Mm.
like they can go out there and take on the teams. And to be honest,
Apart from
Gundogan
that,
is
yeah,
yeah,
apart from that, the golden youngsters of the team,
Yeah, of course.
absolutely.
Pedri, Gavi, De Jong,
The La Masia,
I mean,
definitely.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Now, what Xavi has done is to integrate the La Masia boys again. Getting Firmin Lopez. I just saw a couple of the way he played against Real Madrid. He looks like the next big thing once again from La Masia. He looks that goal which he scored against Madrid, man. You're talking about beating Courtois. It's not a small deal. The way
I
he
mean,
bet him,
also being a Manchester City fan, you would know beating Quarto is not.
it's not an
thing.
easy fan. It's not an easy thing. And the way he bet him and the way in which he created space there, he's got great technical awareness about him. Very young, very good on the ball, and he's very calm on the ball. That's one thing you need to realize. And
I think that's one thing that's common between all La Masia
yeah,
players.
they're very calm on the
They
ball.
know what to do next. They don't
Yeah.
look like youngsters. I mean, most youngsters they look like fish out of water.
Yeah.
But La Masia products they belong. They
Yes.
look like fish in the water.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
very La Masia thing to do. Very calm on the ball, and these are things to tick box. A boy coming from La Masia, you look at these kind of things. How is he on the ball? How is his passing? And how is he in his spatial awareness? If these three things are ticked, then you're destined for good things in the club. And I'm very happy with the fact that Barcelona have decided that selling Dembele is. I'm not sad about it because with Dembele is a very volatile asset. Either you get a good season with him, or either you get to spend his hospital bill. So these two things are the things. It's better to sell him off to PSG. He'll be pretty happy there. Maybe he can party in Parisian streets, and he's a replacement for Kylian Mbappe on the left hand side for them pretty surely.
Absolutely.
But for Barcelona, they're looking at a left winger. Definitely not Kylian Mbappe at this point of stage. They are looking at a possible.
I mean, if you guys can get Kylian Mbappe at Barcelona, it will be the revenge for them taking away Figo.
I mean, no, that is nothing like that. It is still, but I still think they are looking at a possible left winger. They're talking about Karim Adeyemi at this point. They're looking at different options. So I think before transfer window closes, Barcelona are going to sign a big left winger, considering the fact that they've got enough money now to do that. Not a lot of wage bills, which is going to be incurring when Messi was coming in. So these are the factors which Barca have in hand. And now you have a captaincy or leader in Gundogan in the midfield alongside Pedri, Gavi, and Frenkie. Now that is sorted, right? And I also think this also indicates the fact that Gavi will play on the left wing and Rafinha on the right, Lewandowski on the central. And Victor Roque is a massive signing for Barcelona. Watched him a lot. Watched a lot of his highlights. I think he's one for the future. If he succeeds, he's going to be possibly the next, Brazilian Ronaldo. I'm making big statements over here. He's going to be the next Brazilian Ronaldo if he succeeds.
But I'll tell you one thing, though, guys. For me, as a football fan, I think the color that was off La Liga after Ronaldo and Messi left, I feel it's genuinely returning, especially last season.
It'll take
we saw
time. It'll
that.
take time.
Definitely.
The start of the new era for La Liga. At least.
Yeah, at least I'm very happy.
Yeah.
Atletico defeated Manchester City. Not a small deal. They went and played good game and defeated Manchester City's good score.
Correct.
So this means that they are in for it. They are not just messing around. They're in for the long run. And I think the Spaniard teams, Real Madrid and Barcelona, are going to make a lot of noise in Europe this season.
Yeah.
And those two clubs, you can't deny them. I mean, you kept Barcelona
They've got
quiet.
heritage.
They've got heritage, and you have to say once they find the right squad balance. I mean, and you got the manager, you got the players, and it's just the belief which will take them. And now you have a Gundogan, a treble-winning player in there. The mindset will change. The way you look at things will also change.
Okay, one last question, guys. How far will Tottenham go this year?
Top 6.
Top 6?
Yeah, I don't think so.
No top 6. No Europe for
No.
them.
No Euro for them.
All
Like,
right. You think
for
another
me,
James
for me, the Premier League this season will be going to be definitely more competitive than ever.
Yeah, that's for sure. I don't think even Arsenal will reach
Like-
the same heights it did.
Yeah.
Because last year, I think everyone was shocked and
Yeah.
surprised.
Yeah.
But this
I
year,
think
Pep
Arsenal will do a very good job from whatever I've seen of them.
Yeah.
I saw the match against Barcelona. They played. That team is playing with a lot of intensity, and
Mhm.
they're not messing around. Arteta is a phenomenal manager. He's got the vision, and I think they'll at least win one trophy. I don't know which one is it going to be. Definitely, and they'll have a good season in Europe in comparison with all the other previous season. Might come to quarterfinals. That's a good season for them. but other
The
than that,
reason for disagreeing me, like why Tottenham will not get into top 6, like as we see in the performance from the Newcastle and the Brighton last season, That was
Yeah.
totally massive.
Especially, I think Newcastle this year, they've got a very good. I think we've got 3 signings,
And
and
yeah.
hit the nail on coffin on all 3.
Tonali is a big signing. I mean,
Tonali is
I
a
just
big
want to see how
signing.
Newcastle goes, but other than that, Brighton of Albion keeps
Brighton as well as Aston Villa.
just they throw in. I saw the game against the Chelsea they play. I know they lost, but the number of youngsters they've got, the system they've got under De Zerbi. He's a manager who's a demanding manager, a very, very interesting school of thought which he carries, and very impressive football they play, and he's good with youngsters as well. They have thrown another couple of 18-year-olds into the mix, and they'll be sold for big money in the next season for sure.
Oh, I'm also very interested to see, guys, how Luton Town does in its new Olympic
Yeah.
stadium. It's going to be one footballing story if they survive, that is. But yeah, that's pretty much it from us for today. Thank you, Keshav, for joining, and
Thank you
thank
so
you
much.
as well. We'll see how far our predictions go true for this season, because it's going to be one hell of a season. As always, footballing season never stops to surprise you.
Yeah. Before the stream ends, just wanted to ask you who will be UCL champion for, according to you.
I think Man City are going to do a two-peat. Is what I think. I genuinely think, because here's the thing about Pep. Yeah, once you give him the taste of victory, he never stops. He's gonna go ahead.
That is Manchester definitely up there with top 2, but again it depends. You know, Barcelona are trying to get Bernardo, they're gonna poach him. It's like Barcelona, our City are in a connection
That's
right
the
now.
thing about Pep, right?
He doesn't.
Pep does not care. You'd sell Haaland tomorrow, he'll create a Haaland.
That's one thing. That's why
that's
good managers don't
what
care.
according
I mean,
to you, Evan?
how many teams would you see a João Cancelo leave and still go ahead and beat the team that he went to?
I think right now, what I see, Barcelona are the clearance of Manchester. They're trying to get for João Cancelo and Bernardo as well. So it's going to be very interesting. So this season is very different in comparison to a lot of other seasons. A lot of transfers over the last 2 months. Once you get the season off and running, maybe by September midweek, is when we can sit and say, once the UCL first week is done, okay, this team is looking good. But it's still early days.
You never know.
Because this football, you saw what happened the last season. Arsenal was going to be the Premier League champions, and they just crumbled.
Yeah.
And that is what we love.
That's the thing about football. Yeah.
Football is unpredictable.
Well, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for joining once again, and we'll see you again, because football season, and it never stops the action.
Thank you, Keshav, once again.
Thank you so much.